Okay, I always knew that I would get to this strength at some point, and today is that point. We're talking about the futuristic strength, and I'm excited and a little bit nervous and a little. This is a very emotional strength for me to share, and I want to be clear about this. This is not a high strength for me. This is actually my number 23 strength. It's in what should be flyover country, right? It should be in that area that doesn't really, it's not sacred to us, but at the same time, it's not a shadow strength. It's just kind of one of those things that, yeah, I could kind of take it or leave it. But that is not the case for me, and I'm going to explain to you why right now. While this is my number 23 strength, it is my wife Kim's number 5 strength. Yes, it is her heart strength, her anchor strength, and she absolutely has a futuristic heart. So, keep in mind, I've shared with you in the past that my number 5 strength, my heart strength, is adaptability, which means I have a natural tendency to live in the moment and to take life as it comes, to go with the flow, right? Futuristic, very different. People with futuristic don't go that route. So you can see how this could create some potential issues in the way we do things. So this is something we had to work hard on. And luckily, my wife Kim is not only futuristic; she's also strategic, and she's just been able to really help open my eyes to absolutely how magnificent this strength is. So again, I love this strength. It's not high for me, but I love it because I cherish the person in my life who has this particular strength as their heart strength. And because of that, I have a better understanding of it and I see just how magnificent it is. So let's start breaking down this magnificent strength. Futuristic is in fact found under the strategic thinking domain. It is a strategic thinking strength. And people who are highly futuristic, and I cannot think about futuristic without thinking of Kim. So I'm going to tell you right now, this is not going to be an unbiased video here about this strength. I have a great deal of passion. I have a great deal of love for this strength, and I'm not even going to try to be unbiased about it. I'm going to speak to you from my heart on what I love about this strength, because ultimately this is what I love about Kim. So the futuristic strength, people that are futuristic, it's not that they just see the future. Okay, that's not what this is. They create the future. They actually create the future that they see, that they can envision. And they do this, they have this ability, not because they have ESP or something like that, but they have an inner belief within themselves on what that future can and should be. And they go about the business of making it happen. And so this is what's so powerful about this strength. It is the most inspiring strength I can think of, because when someone can present you, someone with high futuristic can see this futuristic vision and they can inspire you with it, that is hugely powerful. There is, I can't think, it is such, it can be mind-blowing and it can be life-altering when someone does that. Someone with high futuristic is able to share their vision and instill that vision in you and help you to see that vision, because you have to get into the concept that they're always going to be a few steps ahead of you. Just when you think you've caught up, you realize you've moved up 3 steps to where they were last week. And guess what? They're now 10 steps ahead. And you just have to, we just have to accept that. Those of us that do not have futuristic high, or those of us especially that have context high or the adaptability high. And this is something that we need to accept and we need to love about that futuristic person. So As I said, futuristic people, they have this vision because they know deep inside themselves, they have a belief in themselves. And that is a huge that is a huge asset that they have this inner belief on what they can accomplish, what they can do, and they go about the business of doing it. So this is I such a powerful thing. It has been such a powerful thing in our marriage, in our business, in helping our teams to grow, in developing our customer base, all the people we coach. Kim's vision is just one of the most powerful guiding posts we can have to lead us on our journey. And our team gets that. Our team respects it. They love it, and they, it just works. And Kim, like I said, having it as her heart strength, that's extremely powerful. So again, if we talk about the sacred side of this strength, it's about an inner belief to where people can go about the business of making their future a reality. They have the ability to see it and then to implement it. And that is huge. It's huge in business, it's huge in personal goals, it's huge in marriage, it's huge in family life, it's huge everywhere it gets applied. So I could go on and on about this, but I think you get the idea. The biggest point I want you to understand is that it comes from inside them and it comes outward. So it is projected out of their soul into the world in which they live, and they alter the world around them. They affect the world around them accordingly. Now, understand, I said this is a very powerful strength, and I said it's very influential. It's very inspiring. But influence and inspiration does not always have to be positive. So now we can talk a little bit about the sinister side of this particular strength. So if a person with high futuristic has that tendency, but is stuck in a position to where they cannot see, they can't see their vision, it's cloudy to them, they're going to get very frustrated, and they could potentially get very stuck with that. So the futuristic strength is positive when they have a positive outlook on themselves and on the environment around them, because they're going to create what they see. They are going to create that. If a person has high futuristic and all they see are potential problems, they are going to create those potential problems. They will make those problems a reality. If they see a potential problem with a person they have to deal with, and they're going to go about the business of making that a reality, and they don't mean to, but that's what happens. Highly futuristic people do that. They create the vision they see. So it's so very important that they tap into that inner strength within themselves and that inner belief they have about how wonderful things can be, how positive things can be, how fantastic their contribution can be. And when they do that, they are unstoppable. It is huge for them. So I told you a little bit about the sinister side there. They have to be clear on that inner, it has to be clear inside them so they can project it outward. They have to be clear on the positive things they want to focus on, because if they're focusing on the positive things, the things they want to do that are going to benefit them and those around them, they are going to be in wonderful shape. They're going to do wonderful things. They will make those things happen. So how else can this strength go a little bit sinister? Well, it can go sinister when they have this futuristic vision, but those around them don't see it and don't give them credit for it. Don't give them the attention they deserve for that vision. It's hard for people that aren't futuristic sometimes to see what they see, to see what the futuristic person sees. And as such, it's easy to discredit. So this is something, if you have a person with high futuristic, you know, you've got to make sure you support them in this strength. Because if you do not support them in this, they're going to feel very frustrated and they're going to feel very alone. And hopefully they're like my wife Kim is, and that inner belief they have within them is strong enough to overcome the doubters. And generally speaking, I think a lot of futuristic people are that strong. That's what's so cool, is a lot of times they don't get bogged down by the non-believers. They may get frustrated about it, but it's not going to extinguish that flame inside them that is leading them to use this strength. So that's very powerful. Something else that futuristic people do need to be careful of is a lot of times people are so futuristic that they're looking so far down out in front of them that they may end up kind of tripping over what's right in front of them that they're not noticing. And they'll trip over it because ultimately that's just not important to them. They see it, oh, I tripped over it, I'm going to get back up and I'm going to keep moving, and they may trip again, and they may trip again. But they don't lose sight of the future. They don't lose sight of what they're looking at 100 yards away or 100 miles away or however far it is. They hang on to that. And while the rest of us are looking at this person saying, gosh, you're tripping and we're tripping with you, that the futuristic person doesn't care about the tripping. They're not going to get bogged down by that. They're not going to get distracted by that. They're going to keep going. That's just a modern inconvenience. It doesn't mean anything to them that there's something in the way right now today. They're not worried about today. They're focused on what's coming down the road. So their focus, it's like they're standing on top of a mountain and they are looking out over a winding road going through a valley, and they can see every turn, every twist, they can see it all. And the rest of us, we're kind of down there on the road in a car, and we can only see what our headlights are showing us. You know, we don't see what the curve is coming up next. We don't anticipate that. We won't see it until we get to that point in the road and we're supposed to see it. So these are kind of some metaphors I've come up with over time. But get into the practice of accepting the fact that your futuristic person, if you are not the futuristic one, the futuristic person in your life is going to be steps ahead of you. It's okay. You got to learn to be okay with that. And that can be tricky. It doesn't mean your strengths are good. It doesn't mean that you're not contributing things, but let them do that. Let them use that strength in that way, because ultimately it's going to benefit you and everyone else they work with. Okay? I think generally that's pretty much it. If obviously it's kind of like most of the other strengths here, where if a person with high futuristic is discounted enough times and they're not giving credit for their futuristic strength, and nobody's acknowledging them for that. It's not necessarily about credit, but it's about acknowledgement and respecting that they have it and giving it its due diligence. If that happens long enough, of course, the worst thing that can happen is that the futuristic person is going to shut down on that and not use that strength. So we don't want that to happen. I think that kind of covers it in a nutshell here. So again, I absolutely love this strength. I absolutely adore my wife. And this is one of the things that I absolutely love and adore about her, is this particular strength, because I don't have it. And because I don't have it, I can totally lean on her in this area. And that is powerful. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, as always, remember, inspiration starts here.